Anyway, where were we? Oh yes, Zurg. Wait, was that a predator cry? So Buzz shoots Zurg in the nose, and that does nothing. And he lets Buzz go. Buzz drops to the ground, and Zurg starts a menacing approach. Why are you antagonizing him? I thought you wanted an alliance. Buzz shoots Zurg, but he uses his halo shield. That sends the beam flying back. Why didn't you use that against the mining laser? So Buzz spots the exit and jumps over Zurg somehow. If only. Zurg then stomps on the seemingly not very structurally sound deck, causing Buzz to fly into the air. Zurg then blocks Buzz's... Buzz. Run between his legs, you imbecile!
What is this? Where are we? My ship! Where'd it go?
Up there.
Just thought I should remind you that he should know exactly where he is. The script literally told him.
Who are you?
Now that's the question. Son, we need to talk.
Dad?
It's your father! Well, that's weird. You know, given that Buzz's father was never mentioned before now. If you hadn't watched Toy Story 2, this twist would come completely out of nowhere. And it certainly is a weird note to suddenly end the movie on. There is still a lot of stuff unresolved, but I guess I shouldn't complain. My job is finally over. Man, if I had a nickel for every time I watched something that ended on the cliffhanger of the masked villain unmasking themselves to their protagonist's son, only for said cliffhanger to never be resolved because the sequels got canned, I'd still have one nickel because I edited that Lightyear clip I just showed you. I kind of wish that was how the movie ended. For the uninitiated of this film's third act, I need you to sit down. Really, you need to sit down, because what you are about to learn, the plot twists that Pixar and Angus and everyone involved decide to go with, is so stupid and dumb and bad and mind-boggling. I have no idea how it even got past the drawing board. I am not at all exaggerating here. Unfortunately, it really is that bad. You ready?
Who are you?
Now that's the question. You look good, Buzz.
Dad?
Guess again.
Socks?
Hello, Buzz.
Don't understand.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're not me. I'm...
Are you now? But I'm you 50 years from now.
There can't be two me's.
Yet here we both are.
Okay, then. If you're me, I'm thinking of a number between...
1273.
What does that prove, Buzz? That he's psychic? Whoa. Oh, look, it's the guy with no leg. Remember him?
Isn't that cute? Robots can't quite say Buzz, so around here I'm just Zurg.
They can't say Buzz, but they can say Buzz Zurg. This is so freaking dumb.
How? I don't understand.
Don't worry about it. None of this is gonna matter.
No, I'm pretty sure it matters.
Buzz, you have to explain it all to him.
Yeah, you think?
You're right. I'm sorry. It's just exciting. You're finally here.
See, I reached hyperspeed too.
Just like you did. But I wasn't greeted as a hero.
Neither was Buzz, you dolt. He was greeted by your welcoming party, trying to capture him. Even the dialogue choices in this film don't make any sense.
That commander was going to arrest me for stealing the XL-15, but found a way to get them home, and they didn't even care.
So, Zurg. And please try to stay with me here. Throws a temper tantrum and flies off into hyperspace and travels trillions of miles into the far future. And when he comes out of hyperspace, he just stumbles upon a gigantic abandoned ship filled with armies of robots in an exosuit just waiting for him to use. He then uses the hyperspeed crystal to go back in time and shows up in the big mothership a week before the beginning of the second act. Who wrote this? So, what is Zurg slash Future Buzz's motivation? He wants to fix his mistake and get everyone off the planet. When Burnside says no, he gets depressed. He found out that Sock socked the formula, but then the Knock Knock Patrol comes and Buzz immediately decides to break protocol and steal a ship. He finally reaches hyperspeed and now he has a fuel that works this time. Then Burnside comes to arrest him
22 years, 19 weeks, and 4 days.
later. Why is he still angry at Buzz? Did he really hold a grudge for that long? Like, really? Surely he should be over the moon that they have a working crystal now? Even if everyone is content staying here because, I don't know, surely a working hyperspeed crystal would still be extremely useful in case the planet does become uninhabitable, or if they needed to go to space for literally any reason. Or if you wanted to start a new Space Ranger Corps. You know, like at the end of this film. So after this, Zurg immediately leaves the planet. This is quite literally the writing equivalent of a non sequitur. His motivation is to get everyone off the planet. In order to get everyone off the planet, he needs to put the crystal in the turnip, but he is threatened with arrest. So he decides to blast off into deep space and the far-flung future with said crystal. Why? I don't know. Why are you asking me? None of this makes any sense. This is literally the coil fiasco again, just 1,000 times stupider. His only motive was to get everyone home. Why is he taking a course of action where he would go centuries into the future? Why is this his immediate response? Why would he shoot himself in the foot for no reason? Speaking of things that make no sense, Zurg rockets off into the sky and then to space. There's just one problem. He's facing the bog. Specifically, this bog, with tons of trees here and 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 also this log that's right in front of him. You get my point. There is no way he should be able to take off given what we see at the beginning of Act 2 and during the landing shot in Zurg's own explanation. I guess the trees teleported out of existence right before Zurg took off. Or maybe this is just another instance of, if it's not in frame, then it just doesn't exist. Also take note that the camera goes out of its way not to actually show the ship take off. Just a shot of Burnside smashed into a shot of the ship already flying in the air. Almost as if this is done on purpose to frustrate me personally. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Zurg's plan to avoid getting arrested is to go into hyperspeed in a random direction in space because I guess he doesn't care about finishing the mission anymore. What is happening to the script? So, I was under the impression that hyperspace travel required immense prepping and precise calculations so you don't fly into a black hole or a supernova or literally any other object in space. Zurg goes a ridiculous distance at a ridiculous speed and then comes out fine. I don't think that's how any of this works. After he exits hyperspeed, he ends up right next to an abandoned ship filled with armies of robots and an exosuit just waiting for him to use. Yeah, I have questions, such as, who built the ship? Was it aliens? How old was it when Zurg found it? Why was the ship abandoned and yet still in mint condition with all the robots, teleporters, and exosuits still inside and fully operational? Is there only one exosuit? If so, why? How did Zurg enter the ship? Like, at all? In order to get in, he'd have to put his ship through an airlock, so did someone let him in? Who? Where are they now? Did Zurg eat them? If the ship was made by aliens or robot aliens, why is there oxygen and other human life support systems inside? How is Zurg able to operate any of this alien technology? He's just a space ranger from centuries ago. Oh, he patched Ivan into the console. Wait, what? How on Takani Prime do you manage that? The module and the ship are separated not only by a cosmic distance, but also a ludicrous amount of time. How are they even remotely compatible? This creates more questions than it does answers. Who made the Zurg exosuit? And why was it designed for a human if the people who made this weren't? Why is it that the Cyclops follow his commands? At all. Whose right idea was it to have it so if the ship gets blown up, it deactivates all the Cyclops? Why are the robots easily damaged by paintballs? How did the Turnip's engine console end up here? Wouldn't it be a pile of scrap and rust by now? Or recycled? Where did the bodysuit Zurg is wearing in the present come from? How does Zurg have no facial hair? Did the alien ship also come with a half-century's worth of shaving cream and razors? For humans? Or does Buzz just have low testosterone? Now that I'm thinking about it, where does Zurg even go potty? Actually, what has he been eating? Or drinking? How is he still alive after 50 years? This is Strange World all over again. And now that I'm here, I might as well ask how Future Sox' battery is still working. Does the ship from centuries into the future have a compatible charging port system? Zurg said he
Ended up in a future you wouldn't recognize, filled with technology you can't imagine.
Yet in that future, there was no working hyperspeed crystal technology that could synthesize more of the crystal they already had in their possession. How did Zurg figure out how to use the crystal to travel back in time? Actually, why and how is that even something that's possible in the first place? How come Zurg is the first person to discover this and not like a hyperspeed scientist? Though given the room temperature IQ of all of the scientists in this movie, maybe it does make sense that brain dead Buzz discovered it first. And given how cosmically huge the universe actually is, what are the odds that he'd end up right beside this plot device and not anywhere else? In reality, it'd be more likely for him to fly straight into a star than to run into this particular singular ship by a factor so large, I'd have to use exponents with over quadruple digits. And that's probably an underestimate. And if we are in the spirit of asking insanely relevant questions, why was Zurg in cryostasis when Act 2 began? I thought he hated autopilots, yet he goes to sleep and lets the robots handle the invasion on their own. Why is it that when Zurg arrived a week ago, he decided to attack the colony? No, seriously, there's no answer. He is holding everyone hostage in the dome, and currently all the robots are trying to get inside. What is he planning on doing exactly? Is he trying to kill everyone? Why? Seriously, why is he doing this? Why couldn't he just do nothing and wait for Buzz to get back? I guess he hates Burnside so much and inhibits his cognitive function. Of course, that would be assuming he had any in the first place. Actually, why was he in cryostasis? If he was awake, he could have intercepted Buzz when he returned and abducted his ship while it was still in space with him inside it, thus rendering most of Act 2 completely pointless. And he knew the exact flight path and landing site, and that path involved 3 giant freaking rings visible from inside the atmosphere. So why was he sleeping? Did he want things to be harder for himself? Don't answer that. Why does Zurg attempt a violent capture of Buzz when it would be best to simply negotiate? The thing he needs is the crystal. Guess what's not on Buzz right now? Now I'm thinking about it. Why did the Cyclops blow up the team's first ship? For all it knew, the crystal was inside it. I guess the robots are brain dead too. Why does Zurg get into a dogfight with Buzz? He literally tries to blow up the ship they're in. You know, the ship that is powered by a hyperspeed crystal, of which the only working one is in Buzz's possession, which is the thing you need. And you're trying to blow them out of the sky when the crystal can easily explode. Why does Zurg fly past their crash site for no reason? And how did it take him and his robots hours to find the not hidden whatsoever ship? Why does Zurg explode them at point blank range? And well, I guess I've already covered all of that in the previous chapter. So what are the answers to any of these questions? Well, I actually do know the answer. It's shut up and consume product. Wait, no, Socks. He did it. Just all of it. I mean, there is precedence for that.
And that's when it dawned on me. If we can use this crystal to go forward in time, why not use it to go back?
But we can't go back in time.
We can now.
You can't go back in time. Oh, but we can. Okay. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
What?
Listen, Buzz, I've broken time. What's happening to you never happened to me. This is a new now that's never been lived. See, we can change things, Buzz.
Well, if we can go back in time, we can stop ourselves from ever landing on that planet.
From ever hitting that mountain.
It wasn't really a mountain.
We can just continue the mission home.
None of this will have ever happened.
It's a good plan.
No, it's not really. What is Zurg's plan? Now, let's just ignore how poorly conceived his plan has been up to this point for the sake of argument. What is he going to do from here? They can travel back in time. Let's just accept this. Back all the way to that day. Then what? In order to change the future, you will have to actually do something. Are you going to call the turn-up and tell them, hey, don't land on that planet? Like, are your communication systems even compatible? You think they're going to trust you? Or is your plan to wait until after the crash, then land on the planet and shuttle everyone back to Earth on the mothership? I guess that could work if everyone was willing to trust you, even though, again, everyone should be highly skeptical of supposed time travel and supposed alien saviors coming to rescue them for seemingly no benefit to themselves. Even then, there are still problems. Zurg said himself this wasn't an exact science. What if you go too far back and the both of you die of old age before the turn-up even arrives? Or if your meddling screws up the timeline beyond repair? Besides, there's no way of knowing how changing the course of history could play out. For all you know, the crash could have been the best possible outcome for history, and we have no idea what the rules of time travel even are. They could literally be anything, and there's no telling what unforeseen consequences could come from not understanding said rules. And if everything works somehow, there will be 3 whatever. 3 of Buzz on Earth. That wouldn't get complicated. And the proof of 2 time-traveling versions of Buzz, wouldn't that potentially cause problems if Star Command figured out the secrets of time travel? What if they become time-space authoritarians because of Zurg's reckless actions? I love it when new elements of the world's universe are added in without any regard or consideration of how they would logically interact with other established elements. Also, apparently Zurg's plan somewhat relies on Buzz being a gullible idiot and or him being dead for some reason. And the gullible idiot part works for some reason. Only a few seconds ago, he thought Zurg and the robots were evil aliens bent on killing everyone. But then a splitting image of himself pops out, says he is Buzz from the future, and Buzz immediately believes him just because he has tags on the socks. How does he know for sure that this isn't an alien trick made with shape-shifting holograms and mind parasites feeding lies into his mind? Surely that would be more believable and plausible than time travel into the freaking past! How does he not realize this may be a trick to steal the crystal from him? Which is kind of what ends up almost happening now I'm thinking about it. Also, this guy just tried to kill you multiple times! I refuse to believe that Buzz could possibly be this stupid. Who wrote this?
This crystal is the key to it all.
Wait, don't you already have one?
Well, sort of. See, I wore my crystal out testing the time travel. Wore myself out, too. It took a while. Turns out this isn't an exact science. This is as far back in time as I could get.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Isn't it convenient that the furthest he could go back was a week before his alternate self would get back and not any time too far before where he would have died of old age, or after when then his mission would be impossible because the other Buzz would have already left the crystal. Luck, luck, luck. This entire script runs on luck.
Come on, help me configure the engine. Should look familiar.
Wait, is this based on the turnip?
Yeah. How did he get this? Where did it come from? Just why? And again, how is Buzz's first thought not, this must be an alien trick?
Set it for reverse thrusters full.
No. You did not. You did not just say that. You did not just seriously tell me that going into hyperspace backwards is the way of traveling into the past. You cannot be serious. For starters, the whole logic of if we can use it to go forward, why can't we use it to go back? Is so stupid. Time dilation isn't a time machine. It's a phenomenon where time affects things at different rates relative to each other. Conflating time dilation with time traveling to the future is like calling an apple an orange. Yeah, they are both reddish-hued spherical things you can eat, but like, why would you do that? They are obviously two distinct things, but let's ignore that grievance for now. The idea that traveling very fast makes you travel into the future and that traveling very fast backwards makes you go into the past is... Oh my goodness, where do I even start with this nonsense? This is mainly dumb because direction literally should not be a factor in anything like this. Like, how would this even work? Like, what if you're in a ship with one seat facing forward and the other facing back? Would that mean when going in hyperspeed that the one facing forward would go through time dilation and the guy facing back would go back in time and be ejected from the ship and flung into space? Wait, wouldn't that make traveling back in time in this fashion a complete crapshoot and be another reason why Zurg's plan should not work at all? This is so stupid. Why am I torturing myself with this stupid... Maybe I'm supposed to assume that the engine's reverse thrust itself is what changes the effect of hyperspeed? And yeah, I'm no astrophysicist, but I shouldn't need a degree to be able to notice when a rider pulls something out of their donkey.
So we designed all of this?
Oh no, this is all borrowed. I just made some modifications.
Borrowed? Oh, I guess we aren't going to explain that, are we? Nice to see you're picking your battles.
She'll get to be a space ranger again, Buzz.
Now I will ask a simple question that should have a simple answer. Where did that photograph come from? Because, no, seriously, where did it come from? So this is the photo he picked up from the ground after the death message. You know, the one that promptly disappeared from his hand only to pop back into his hand for the next scene. He puts that photo on the table, then the next time we get a clear view of the table, it's gone. Again, then it doesn't appear again until now. Am I supposed to believe that both Zurg and Buzz brought the photo with them? Because again, we see the photo on the table, the next time we see it is now. But maybe he put it in his pocket. Can't even get a freaking photographic consistent through line. I guess there was a reason why my editing software crapped out. It was warning me of what was to come.
Yeah, although she won't have her family. She won't have Izzy.
Who's Izzy?
You know what? I think we need to put this one line on loop just to let it sink in.
Who's Izzy?
My granddaughter, Izzy.
Who's Izzy?
My granddaughter, Izzy.
Who's Izzy? Who's Izzy? Who's Izzy? Who's Izzy? Who's Izzy?
Okay, we're done. You know who Izzy is, you psychopath! You saw the same death message. Are you senile? You know exactly who Izzy is. This is, my dear viewer, is what is referred to a kick the dog moment or character assassination. This entire sequence is actually just one big character assassination. Anyway, this is what is referred to as a kick the dog moment. It is an action made by a character, not because it's in character or because it makes sense, but because the author wants to cheat and use shorthand to show just how evil the character is without earning it. Only it takes people out of the story due to its often cartoonish, out of nowhere extremes. Think Hans from Frozen. And given that Buzz remembers Izzy from the recording...
Izzy? But you were just a little...
Why is this not a red flag to Buzz that Zurg potentially isn't who he says he is? But then again, that would require the writers and Buzz to put in actual thought.
Look, she's not gonna miss anyone if she never meets them in the first place, right? The only thing people are gonna know is that we finished our mission.
Oh boy, it's been so long since I felt the need to ask this question, except it isn't really. So here it goes. What is the mission? Exactly, because I don't know. Again, with the kick the dog thing, is that your only writing trick?
Here, hand me your crystal. Buzz?
I don't know. Maybe we should think about this.
Yes, Buzz. maybe you two should think about it. But then the writers would also have to think about it, and that's just too hard. Nuance? What's that? So Zurg tells you time travel to the past is possible, and you immediately believe him and jump aboard. And then 3 seconds later, you're like, wait, if we go back, everyone won't exist. Gee, Buzz, you just figured that out now?
Think about what? Commander Hawthorne believed we could fix this mistake we made, and that belief cost her everything.
She died at old age. The only thing her belief cost her was having you in her life, you stupid. Again with the cost her everything line. It doesn't make any dang sense. I guess they were so in love with it, they just had to keep it in twice.
Oh, no. We had that all wrong. She had a whole life down there.
Which you need to be told about, even though you were right there witnessing it. Sure, he skipped around, but he was watching at least some of it happening.
What kind of life? We're supposed to be space rangers. We're supposed to matter.
Okay. Here we go. What kind of life? Maybe the one where you settle down with your significant other, you rear children and raise them up to adulthood so they can in turn have kids and the cycle repeats itself. You know, the life that most people find meaningful and experience. So what if she didn't have any more space adventures? Some might call family the greatest adventure of all. You psychopath. This is so frustrating.
You don't want to live like this, Buzz. Waking up with that same nightmare.
Afraid it's protocol. I can do it.
Sorry. I can't take you seriously.
You don't want to live like this, Buzz. Waking up with that same nightmare, haunted by your mistake. But you can finally let go of that, starting right now.
You're right, I can.
Where are you going?
You and me, we're not the same. I'm sorry.
Oh. Huh. So, what just... So Buzz leaves, I guess.
No, Buzz. I'm sorry.
Ooh, I'm shocked. Who would have guessed he'd end up being Mr. Evil? I mean, it's not like there are any other candidates for main antagonist, and he literally tried to kill you multiple times for no reason. Oh hey, look, it's the guards.
Hey, let go of me! No!
I don't understand what's happening here, Buzz. You've changed, and not for the better.
Okay, let's address the obvious. Is future Buzz acting in character given what we know of our Buzz? Because they have the exact same backstory and went through the exact same first act? No, not really. I never got the impression in Act 1 that Buzz would have become a genocidal maniac if his best friend died of natural causes. Trust me, there's a reason I'm hammering the old age thing. I'll get to it. This movie has the gall to suggest that Zurg is what Buzz would have become if he hadn't met Izzy. If he didn't meet this incompetent liar, he would have jumped the shark and become Mr. Evil Badman who wants to play God with everyone's lives. Yeah, no one's buying it, Angus, because this comes out of nowhere, and I mean nowhere. Zurg might as well be an entirely different person. You haven't earned this. In order to pull off this kind of plot twist and story, you need something. You actually need something that you may not have heard of. Setup.
No!
You can't do this. You're gonna erase it all.
Exactly.
No, you're gonna take away everything. People's families, their friends, my friends. They have lives on that planet. Everyone does. Except for us.
I hardly recognize you, Buzz. All these new ideas. You know what? We'll go ahead and erase those too.
There comes a time in all forms of media
Whoa! I bought you 5 minutes.
You know, physics is hard. I like how this scene is 99% exposition and yet nothing is actually explained. This twist is interesting, to say the least. Conceptually, it is the origin we were watching was secretly the origin of the antagonist this whole time. This is a twist that theoretically should enhance the earlier portions of the film, where you go, oh yeah, that makes more sense in retrospect. So it's nice they managed to screw that up somehow. When I watch something that has the intention of subverting my expectations, my reaction is usually, wow, I thought this was going to be good. You really subverted my expectations. Because going into anything, my sole expectation is quality. Not politics, not flashing lights and moving objects, but to be entertained by a story, not someone's dank prank. So how does Zurg being Buzz's future self make the story better without traveling all and everything? Yeah, it doesn't. All it does is break everything that's been established. Toy Story 2 clearly states that Zurg is Buzz's father. Yes, it is a joke, but it is canon. You have to respect that, Angus. Now you are telling me that Toy Zurg lied for no reason. Why? If all Buzz Lightyear toys have the I'm the real so-and-so defect, then why did Toy Zurg tell Gravity Belt Buzz that he was his father when he would genuinely think that he is future Buzz? Come to think of it, why does Gravity Belt Buzz even believe him? If he thinks he's the real Buzz Lightyear, wouldn't he have the memories from this movie? Wouldn't he think Zurg is his future self? It's almost as if this Lightyear movie didn't actually exist at this point in the timeline. Even if we take the Toy Story films out of consideration here, against this movie's own wishes, I might add, this twist doesn't make sense in the eternal logic that the film previously set up. Remember when the movie felt the need to tell us how time dilation works, and did so by making everyone look like colossal morons?
Time dilation is quite simple. As you approached hyperspeed, your time slowed relative to our own. So during your mission, you aged only minutes, while the rest of us have aged years. Simply put, the faster you fly,
The further into the future I travel.
The ability to travel back in time comes completely out of nowhere. I guess the droid / movie just forgot to tell us that hyperspeeding in reverse reverses the dilation effect. No, I won't let that go, Angus. You can't just change your story's rules mid-story. That's not how any of this works. Now that I'm thinking about it, what even are the rules to this universe's time travel mechanics? Because I don't think those are ever explained. Like, is this Back to the Future rules? Well, no, Zurg actively tries to kill Buzz later on and earlier on. So if this is Back to the Future rules, he'd effectively be committing suicide. So that can't be it. Actually, this leads to another problem. What does Zurg think the time travel rules are and why? Why has he come to the conclusion that killing his past self won't affect him whatsoever? Now, technically, Buzz isn't his past self given the split in the timeline that occurred. This morning? Wait, did this entire movie from the point where Buzz found Alicia's death message to right now happen within the span of one day from Buzz's perspective? My entire sense of time has been fudged in two different ways simultaneously. I guess that's an achievement? I'm guessing we're working with The Flash Season 2 time remnant rules or something. I don't know. It's never explained. None of this acknowledges the fact that Buzz's moral dilemma means nothing, because it only takes him a minute to realize erasing the timeline is bad. By now, his arc in the movie are basically already finished, meaning that there is no drama to be had here, because there is literally no more time for it. Like, seriously. What kind of moral dilemma that the movie... Like, this is the moral dilemma that the climax of his character arc is built around. And it's built around something introduced at the literal last second. This is something you put at the end of, like, the first act of the movie. The proposition. And then the answer at the end of the movie is no. Angus, do you not know how story structure works? Nice to see you decide to rip off the Lego Movie 2, but only to do it worse for no reason. Are you guys big fans of that film or something?
Buzz is convinced he's the hero. Making his steadfast, unwavering belief in his own competence would make a great villain. This is what would happen if Buzz had not met Izzy.
This scene had gone through a number of changes while it was being played out and animated. It's a very difficult part of the story to tell in terms of explaining time travel in a way that is believable, but not...
Enough information, you're like, okay, I get it. I get my head around it and move on.
You want to feel like Buzz has a legitimate choice.
Even though he was just third, you're like, okay, I like this guy. Needed to sell this idea that this was a viable opportunity for Buzz. He's given a choice. Do we want Alicia to live the life that she had planned for? But then he realizes that meeting Izzy is the thing that's different in their timeline.
That's a great idea. That belongs in the movie. Or that's a great idea for a different movie. Or
yeah,
that's a bad idea.
You have written this film into a massive corner, Angus. I ask you, what now? Where can the story possibly go from here? If your sole answer is mindless action and anticlimax, you'd be correct.